Wajek Misoe. My name is Ed Sackany, and I bring you greetings from the Fort Albany First Nation in James Bay. The Cree name for my community is Petabeguch. This year, I am honored to speak about the annual fundraiser of Alzheimer's Canada. But this year, 2020, we are faced with extra challenges due to COVID-19 and with its restrictions. Due to the fact that we cannot gather in a large crowd, I encourage each of you to fundraise, that is through online, to not lose the spirit of the goal of raising funds for Alzheimer's. You will need your creativity. You will need to use your abilities of your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual abilities. As with Alzheimer's, it affects the individual, usually at a later age, elderly age, but it will also affect the family, and it also will affect the community. So this fundraising effort at the end of this month is to raise finances so the programs to assist people with Alzheimer's and support families can continue. So I will encourage you to continue with the fundraising aspects through your innovation and using all your abilities, your mental, your emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. I thank you, and I encourage you to follow this day as it was intended to be. Miigwech, thank you.
The Alzheimer Society plays such an important role in our communities all across the country. The work they do to raise money and awareness about the illness of Alzheimer and look for new research and science that will help develop new treatments and support people living with this disease all across our country is invaluable. This year, I'm so glad that so many people will contribute to the best of their ability to help the Alzheimer Society reach their ongoing goal.
Thank you, Ed Sackany and Minister Haidu. Welcome, everyone. I'm Marcia McMillan from CTV News, and today I am honored to be acting as the host for the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's Online. I am so glad you are joining us today. Every year in communities across Canada, Alzheimer societies gather for the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's. We honor and remember people in our lives who have been affected by dementia and fundraise to support vital programs and services that enable research. But 2020 is a year unlike any other, so things are a little different. Since physical events can't take place this year, the Alzheimer Society's decided to get creative and show that physical distancing doesn't have to result in social isolation. So they've armed themselves with cell phones and video cameras, learned how to use Skype, FaceTime, and Zoom to bring everyone together online, because dementia doesn't stop, and neither do we. So for the first time ever, Alzheimer societies across the country are proud to bring the walk to your homes, your gardens, or wherever you are. We have a wonderful show for you today that will feature people in our communities who every year, without fail, make this walk a reality. They are people living with dementia, caregivers, families, special guests, and walkers from all over the country. We want to see how each of you is walking as well, so please make sure to share your videos and photos on social media and use the hashtag IGWalkForAlls. And remember, 100% of the funds you raise and donate today stay in your local community. From coast to coast to coast, we have seen one thing stand strong during the pandemic: the Canadian spirit of togetherness. It's our first responders, our healthcare workers, essential workers, neighbors helping neighbors, and it's in you. To celebrate the spirit, I would like to invite you to stand and join in singing "O Canada" alongside a very special group of people. Voices in Motion is a joyful choir that brings people living with dementia, their caregivers, high school students, and community members together to share in the love of music. This multi-generational choir was funded as a part of a research project at the University of Victoria, and members are dedicated to reducing stigma, combating social isolation, and having fun. Voices in Motion is a supportive community full of love, connection, and sense of family. Please welcome from their living rooms, Voices in Motion. Today is special for me. I am walking for my mom, Margaret, and I know that you asked me to highlight a bright moment or a special moment with my mom, and there are so many, I think that I could write a book. So I would say that throughout this journey, the most wonderful gift has been a sense of gratitude, both for me and for my mom. I am grateful for every moment along this journey that we can share together, and many times, in fact, every time that I see my mom, she thanks me. So somewhere in her, she is aware of our relationship and what we do for one another and that we are in this together. And there are moments where she will just look directly into my eyes and say, "I am so grateful for you. I am lucky to have you." So that's why I'm here today, for Margaret. I know firsthand how dementia affects people like my mom who are living with the disease, their families, and their caregivers. I also know how vital the programs and services that Alzheimer Societies are across the country. It is my pleasure to introduce Michelle Mulder, today's spokesperson for the Alzheimer Society, to say a few words.
Hi, I'm Michelle Mulder with the Alzheimer Society of Alberta and the Northwest Territories. And I'm so pleased to be here today speaking on behalf of all Alzheimer societies across Canada and welcoming you to the first ever IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's online. You know, usually we would be walking in our communities with our families and friends, raising awareness and raising funds to support people with Alzheimer's disease and other dementias. And the fact that we've found a way to do it in these challenging times is incredibly significant, and it speaks volumes about your passion and commitment to support people with Alzheimer's disease and other dementias so that they feel acknowledged, supported, and included. Because dementia isn't going away, and either are we. According to the World Health Organization, a person is diagnosed with dementia every 4 seconds. And we know here in our country, there are 500,000 Canadians living with a dementia diagnosis today, and that number is expected to double by 2031. And although the numbers might paint a picture, it's really the person with dementia who tells the story. Our neighbor, our coworker, our loved one. That person with dementia tells the story. And we know each story is different because every single dementia journey is unique in and of itself. But there is one thing we know for sure, that when a person is first diagnosed with dementia, they need a place to go, a place to turn to, for the information, the support, and the education they need. And that's why we're here today. We're raising funds so all Alzheimer societies across Canada, particularly in these challenging times, can ensure that no person with dementia walks their journey alone. We're here raising funds so every Alzheimer society across Canada can continue to offer those vital programs and supports that are so incredibly important for people living with this disease. Things like support groups, online and in-person education, outreach, helplines, and a whole raft of other incredibly vital and important initiatives that wrap a circle of care around a person living with dementia and their care partner so that they can build the confidence and acquire the skills they need so that they have the best possible quality of life throughout their dementia journey. You know, big shout out, huge vote of thanks on behalf of all Alzheimer societies to IG Wealth Management. Their commitment, their vision, passion, and drive to support the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's is incredible. They go above and beyond to support this event, and we are so grateful for that support. So, here we are, practicing physical distancing and demonstrating that that does not mean social isolation. We are raising funds, we are joining together, and even though the world has changed, we haven't. We're showing that Canadians are united in their support for people living with Alzheimer's disease and other dementias and their care partners and their families. So on behalf of all the Alzheimer societies across Canada, from the bottom of our collective heart, thank you so much for your generosity, and thanks for joining us today for the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. As mentioned, IG Wealth Management is the title sponsor of the IG Management Walk for Alzheimer's. They have been outstanding partners, being there beside the Alzheimer Society every step of the way, especially during these unprecedented times. They're not only committed to providing financial advice and services to people living with dementia, they fully participate in raising funds and awareness through the walk. They're true leaders who are dedicated to being actively involved in the community in which they operate and are a valued partner of the Alzheimer Societies. We are grateful for their ongoing support. Please welcome Moya Brown, Senior Vice President of Brand and Field Marketing, to say a few words on behalf of IG Wealth Management.
Thank you. As mentioned, I'm Moya Brown from IG Wealth Management, and I am thrilled to be celebrating alongside each of you as we walk online to support those in our communities impacted by and living with dementia. I'm joined online today by my colleagues from across the country. And while the format of the walk is a bit different this year, we're so pleased to continue our unwavering support during these unprecedented times as the national title sponsor of the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's. And as communities across the country navigate these uncharted territories, the amazing work the Alzheimer Society does for millions of Canadians impacted by dementia is needed now more than ever. And I'd like to thank everybody involved in organizing this year's walk, revamping the Alzheimer's largest national fundraiser in a manner that keeps community members safe was no easy feat during this challenging time. And I think it's amazing what they've been able to do in such a short amount of time. I also want to thank everyone taking part in today's online event, including all of you that shared a social post, joined a team, made a donation, and are tuning in today, or all of the above. You're supporting vital programs and services that your community members rely on. And together we've shown that Canadians from coast to coast will adapt to support our communities. At IG Wealth Management, our community is at the heart of everything we do. For more than 90 years, our firm has been helping Canadians plan for their financial futures, building financial confidence, and helping them improve their financial well-being. And we're committed to continuing to build financial confidence, which is why we created a community program called Empower Your Tomorrow. Through this program, we offer a variety of resources, including complimentary financial confidence workshops in partnership with the Alzheimer Society. And these workshops are designed to help families and caregivers navigate the unique financial challenges created by living with dementia. Last year, over 36,000 walkers raised more than $6 million for Alzheimer's and dementia programs across Canada. With your help, we can support our communities again this year to ensure that programs and services continue to be available to those who need them most. Thank you for joining us in this first ever online walk and for taking steps with IG Wealth Management and the Alzheimer Society for this very important cause.
In Canada, there are more than 500,000 people living with Alzheimer's and other dementias. While the numbers paint a picture, each individual has their own unique story of the personal journey with the disease. When we walk for grandparents, parents, spouses, partners, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, friends, the entire dementia community, and ourselves. Dementia touches us all, and we want people on the dementia journey to know that they are not alone. While many of us have experienced the feeling of isolation because of COVID-19, today we are demonstrating that we can still connect to change the future for people affected by this disease. More than ever, we are motivated to show our support to people affected by dementia, and that's exactly what you are doing today. Two years ago, Rebecca Porter from New Brunswick was diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment. Now, at the age of 27, she works as a First Link coordinator at the Alzheimer Society and is passionate about providing support to people living with dementia and their care partners.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Porter and I am from St. John. I work for the Alzheimer Society of New Brunswick as the First Link support, and we'll be walking for this year's IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's with my dog Bosco and my husband Devin. As a First Link support, I assist the First Link coordinator in educating and providing support to those living with dementia and their family members. My favorite things in the world to do is to go on drives with my husband to the beach, play with my dog, and do crafts such as string art and painting. I came to be diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment after coming to my specialist with concerns about my memory and other things such as judgment, decision making, and other things that deal with cognitive functioning. My family was a little bit shocked with this diagnosis as they had noticed some changes, but not as much as I had realized. They've been very loving and supportive, but I do find that there is a little bit of stigma because I am so young, opposed to somebody who is diagnosed in maybe their 60s or 70s. Everyday life is pretty normal for me. I can do things that most people can do. I sometimes just need a little bit more time, a little bit more explanation, or sometimes I do need assistance in doing things. But most days I can do pretty much anything anybody else can do. Having a diagnosis of mild cognitive impairment does help me in my day-to-day work because I'm able to relate to people who are living with the same condition, but also help family members of those living with dementia understand a little bit more of why their loved ones' brains are functioning the way they are functioning. Working for the Alzheimer Society has helped me greatly because I've been able to receive a lot of support from my coworkers, and also it's helped me to better understand my condition a lot as well. If I had a message for people living with Alzheimer's or other related dementias or their family members, it would be a message of hope. There is hope with a diagnosis. A diagnosis does not define you, it is just part of you. I see a lot of hope for my future. I just take it one day at a time, and I know that no matter what happens, although some things are uncertain, I am surrounded with hope and love from those at the Alzheimer Society and also my family and friends.
What a beautiful story. It helps us understand more deeply why we're walking today.
Hello everyone, my name is Teresa Lou Ambrose. I'm a researcher at the University of British Columbia and I focus on healthy cognitive aging. Like many of you, I have loved ones who are or have been impacted by the condition of Alzheimer's disease. Today, by taking the time to walk, run, skip, lift weights, or however you decided to move, you're providing critical support to those living with and impacted by Alzheimer's disease. By taking the time to help others, you're also helping your own brain health. As they say, what is good for the heart is good for the brain, or a healthy body for a healthy mind. Currently, there is no cure for Alzheimer's disease, which is devastating. My own uncle passed away from the condition. He lived with the disease for over 12 years. There is great promise in lifestyle strategies such as exercise. When we exercise, we feel better, we sleep better, our hearts and lungs and muscles stay strong and healthy, and we reduce our risk of chronic conditions such as high blood pressure and diabetes. All these benefits of exercise collectively provide a better brain. It is through research that we now understand the benefits of exercise for the brain. My own research focuses on reducing the risk of dementia through precise exercise recommendations, such as exercise is medicine. My own research has been supported by the Alzheimer Society research program. It is through your support, such as taking the time today to engage in the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's, that important research can be done in the area of Alzheimer's disease. Thank you so much and keep moving.
As is the tradition with the walk, we always start with a brief warm-up to get us primed and ready to go. So if you're walking today or if you're watching from your favorite chair, we invite you to start warming up now.
Hello. Welcome to the annual IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's. My name is Daniel. I'd like to take you on a warm-up. Let's go. Hup. Good. Ha. Ha. Can I hear the ha? Ha. That's it. Here we go. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Ha. Have fun. That's it. Good. Take a deep breath up. Exhale. Other side. Exhale. Together. Exhale. One more. Exhale. Thank you for doing this walk. What a great event. Have a great walk.
Now that we're all warmed up, It's time to walk. If you haven't already completed a challenge, it's time for you to move your way in support of people affected by dementia. If you're heading outside, please remember to abide by all physical distancing guidelines in your province. You can take us with you on your mobile device, as the broadcast will not stop. We will be checking with people all across the country, checking in with them to see how and why they're walking. No matter how much you're moving or watching, take a video or a photo and share on social media using the hashtag #IGWalkForAlls. If you have completed your walk or challenge already, well, feel free to sit back and relax as we continue the celebration. All right, let's count down. 3, 2, 1. Peter Carter has been a dedicated supporter of the Alzheimer Society for many years. He is passionate about the cause. He has achieved many fundraising successes in his hometown of Teeswater, Ontario. Let's find out more about why Peter feels so strongly.
Hi, my name is Peter Carter. I live in a small village in Ontario. It's called Teeswater. I had a good friend by the name of Doug Kennedy in the Teeswater area. I watched his progression through Alzheimer's. It lasted, I guess, for about 3 to 4 years. I was pushing him in a wheelchair, and his wife had told me he doesn't know any of the family anymore, and I was just a friend. So I took him up to the window in his wheelchair, and I said, "Look at that snow, Doug." I said, "By the way, I think you know my name, don't you?" And he says to me, he says, "Well, Pete, if you don't know your name by now, I'm not going to tell you what your name is." So I found that very amusing, and I knew he actually knew who I was. I heard if you want to raise money for Alzheimer's, there's a walk each year. And I started out collecting, I believe the first year, about $5,500. I did start collecting my pledges on January the 4th. Why January? Because January is Alzheimer Awareness Month. Right now, I have collected $11,510. And by the time my wife and I, Joanne, in 10 years, I'll have collected $84,000. But I didn't do that alone. I have to thank my many donors over the years. They're just fantastic people, and I just want to give them credit. And with that being said, I want to say thank you to the world. Thank you so much. God bless.
That's quite a story. If you'd like to try to match Peter's incredible fundraising efforts, feel free to call the number on your screen. Let's see what's going on in the rest of Canada. We'll start with Mark Junot in Rouyn-Noranda. He is walking the golf course in honor of his dad.
Hello, my name is Mark Junot from the Alzheimer Society of Rouyn-Noranda. Today, I'm walking for my father, Archie Junot. He was a doctor and he passed away from complications due to Alzheimer's disease. Our fundraising campaign is as always ongoing, and we hope that you can support us to ensure that people living with this disease can have the best quality of life possible. Thank you so much, and have a very happy walk.
Let's go to Nova Scotia now and meet Becky Langille and her daughter Jada. This mother-daughter duo is passionate about fundraising to help people living with the disease.
Hi, my name is Becky Langille.
Hi, my name is Jada Langille.
And we're from Truro, Nova Scotia, and we're doing the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's this year. And the reason that I've been involved with this walk for the past number of years is because I work at a community-based seniors clinic, and I work with people with Alzheimer's and other dementias on an everyday basis. And I use the Alzheimer Society's programs regularly, and offering that to our clients on a regular basis. So if I could talk to all of my clients and their families and, people with dementia, it's that you are not in this alone, and that we're here to help. The Alzheimer Society is there for support. With the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's, it's something that I've done every year. I've been part of the organizing committee for our local Truro area. And actually I'm a runner, so I decided to run it instead. And that's when Jada decided that she wanted to get involved. And it raises the necessary funds for the Alzheimer Society. So one of the things, I guess, during the COVID isolation is that we've been doing a lot of TikTok dancing. And we also got the kids' trampoline set up a couple of weeks ago, and since then they've been on it.
My original goal was $75, and right now I have raised up to $450. I am fundraising because I want to find a cure for Alzheimer's and other types of dementia.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind just encouraging everybody to, if you do have a diagnosis of Alzheimer's or dementia, please access your local Alzheimer societies because they are a wealth of information. And also anybody in the community who is looking for somebody to fundraise for, the Alzheimer Society is a great choice to fundraise for.
As Becky says, if you're inspired to support your local Alzheimer Society, you can call the number on the screen or donate online. As always, 100% of your donation stays in your local community. Let's check in with people across the country and see who they are walking for.
Hi, my name is Amelia and I am here in beautiful Vancouver, BC, and I'm doing the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's for my granddad Bernie, who lived with vascular dementia. This year my walk looks a little different because of social distancing. I think I'm going to go and do it in my apartment. Welcome to the inside version of the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's.
Hi everyone. My team and I decided that to participate in the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's, we would all bake something that had special meaning to us. So I'm participating in honor of my grandma, and I have a picture of her and I here. So I decided to make the draw permit cookies that she would make a lot, and I actually have her original cookbook here and has the original recipe. So those are the ones that I decided to make, and as you can see, they turned out awesome and they taste pretty darn good too. So I'll also be posting a link to my team's Walk Online page where you can see what my other team members are making as well. Love you, Grandma.
I'm Jennifer Stewart from North Vancouver, and this video is brought to you by the Alzheimer Society of BC's Advocacy and Education team. For this year's online walk, I'll be running around my backyard in support of all advocates working to make BC a better place for people living with dementia.
Hi, my name is Sana Aziz, and I'm from Vancouver, BC. This year, my young family will be walking on the seawall. We're walking for my grandma and my husband's grandmother, who we lost last year.
Hi, my name is Mariana, and for this year's online walk, I will be walking in the Sullivan Heights community in beautiful Burnaby, British Columbia. And this year, I will be honoring my uncle.
Hi, I'm Jasmine and I'm excited about taking part in the online walk. I'm going to be going on a 5K walk and maybe try and run some of it in the Vancouver Heights area. This year I'm walking for anyone and everyone who has been affected by dementia.
Hi, my name's Hannah and I'm taking part in the online walk. I will be cycling twice around Stanley Park in downtown Vancouver. This year I am walking for my great aunt.
Hi, my name's Avery and I'm from Coquitlam, BC. This year I'll be participating in the online walk by riding 20 kilometers on my indoor cycling bike in honor of my grandpa Charlie.
Hi, this is Heather at Port Coquitlam, and I'll be walking and raising money to promote dementia-friendly communities.
Hi, my name is Janine, and I'm taking part in the online walk. I'll be walking 10 kilometers around Burnaby Lake in Burnaby, BC. I'm walking in memory of my grandmother.
Hi, my name's Katie, and I'll be taking part in the walk online by walking around Kitsilano for my Nana Pot.
Hi, I'm Barbara. I'm from Vancouver, and I'm participating in the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's on May the 31st. It's our first online walk. I'm walking for my great aunt, and I hope that you join us and walk for someone you love too. Thank you from BC.
Hi, I'm Lynn Gauthier, ambassador for the Alzheimer Society. I'm also care partner to my husband Yves Dessureau, who has young onset Alzheimer's. I'm joining the virtual walk today with the Société Alzheimer Rive Sud. You know, there's three things that spark the light in my husband's eyes: children, chocolate ice cream, and jazz music that bring him to dance. So we're online. Come dance with us.
The dementia community often feels like one big family. Gail Prosser from Quebec feels this as the disease impacted her life in many ways.
My name is Gail Prosser, and I'm originally from St. Hilaire, Quebec, but I'm living in Île-Perrot. And I'm participating in the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's in support of my mother, who is suffering from Alzheimer's, and for my aunt and uncle who passed away from the disease as well. It's a cause that's near and dear to my heart. My mom is 88, and she's the reason I walk every year. She's the love of my life, and I've watched her go from being my mom to essentially me being her mom. I can't even begin to say how much the Alzheimer Society has helped me. I have a group that I go to every month that provides such great emotional support. They're more like family at this point than it's really sharing with people that understand what you're going through. Really, really important to me. And it's helped me in ways beyond what I can even express. I think what my message would be is that people don't forget how you make them feel. Always remember to treat the person with kindness and love and patience, because what they will remember is how they feel after you've left them. And I always want my mother to feel happy and good when I leave her. So that's my message. And for the walk, I think what I remember and what matters most to me is that I've been doing this for going on 7 years. And every year I harass the same people for donations, and they gladly donate to this amazing cause. And they just support it every year. And every year my friends come on the walk with me, my dog comes on the walk with me, and it's just such a sense of community and support that it's incredible. And it makes me feel like there really are people out there that really care about this cause, and the caregivers need so much support. And the more visibility that we can give it, and the more support and love that we can give this cause, everybody will benefit from, because it's going to touch all of us at some point, one way or another.
All right, let's have a look at what's going on in the community. I understand there's been an active bunch of people out there.
So my name is Benedict Elbensi. I'm a professor at the University of Manitoba, and I have a laboratory at the St. Boniface Hospital Research Center. Our laboratory is focused on Alzheimer's disease for over 15 years. We've also have worked with models of brain injury and stroke and head trauma, and looking at those effects on dementia as well. I've been looking at it not only scientifically, but also from a personal perspective, because I've had 3 people in my family develop dementia. My aunt, my uncle, and also my mother, who died in December of 2017 from dementia. So with my mom, though, the one thing that did help was music therapy. And so we would play, she was the greatest generation. She grew up during World War II. So having those sorts of songs, Sinatra music and other sorts of music that she was familiar with during the war era especially, was very calming to her for a while. So it actually provided some benefit, and that was nice to see, because she was content and at peace. And I think, the quality of life in one's during a dementia like that needs to be appreciated more amongst healthcare workers. That we could, there's a lot of room for improvement, and just making your loved one more comfortable and happier. There's a huge stigma in dementia, and it doesn't apply just to the general public. There's also healthcare practitioners that still have a stigma about dementia, and there are studies that have shown this across the world. I think you should know that people are really working on new treatments every day, and there's really a host of new developments that are just around the corner. And I should also mention that I think there's a new climate for Alzheimer's research. I think many years people have focused on 1 or 2 mechanisms. I think people are starting to open their minds to new ideas and new approaches in the way they will treat Alzheimer's. We're going to see a lot of new ideas being entertained and hopefully funded that will advance Alzheimer's research and care more quickly.
The Ennis sisters are some of the most talented musicians to come from Newfoundland and Labrador. Their unique musical style gathers crowds from near and far. They are champions of raising awareness with their actions. They encourage others to seek help and support. Please welcome the Ennis sisters.
Hi, I'm Karen.
I'm Maureen. And I'm Teresa.
And we are the Ennis sisters. We're going to do a song now that Maureen wrote with her fiance Perry, and they wrote this for me and my husband Shane when we got married back in 2016. Our father had just been diagnosed about a year at that point with Lewy body dementia, and Maureen wanted to make this very special, mostly because they realized Dad would be walking his favorite daughter down the aisle.
Karen, it's not true.
So that's why they went through the trouble of writing our father-daughter dance, which is beautiful. And when we think back to memories of our dad when we were little girls, our best memories were when we got to dance with him to the old Newfoundland and Labrador waltzes. He was such an amazing dancer. And
we didn't really have to do any work. We just kind of got up on his feet, or
that's right.
And he just did all the work, and we just enjoyed the ride.
And so when we got to dance to this song at the wedding, even though he was a little confused that day when we were dancing to this song, he knew that this was a very important moment for the both of us. And that's why I love this song so much, and it's probably my favorite song of all time. It's called Keeping Time.
Looking back on my childhood to the simpler days of my youth, it's hard to find a happier time than when I was dancing with you. I remember those Newfoundland waltzes with the crowd all 3/4ing in twos, and from left to right to the tiny red light, we danced the whole night through. Dance with me and we'll run along just like we used to do. Music and friends, we'll go round again. I love keeping time with you.
That was beautiful. Thank you. We've seen what people are doing today. Now let's learn more about who they're doing it for.
Hello, Denise Boudreau here from New Brunswick. In 2011, my husband Donald was diagnosed with dementia. At that time, we knew very little about the disease. We didn't have anyone in our family with it. We didn't have any other one with it amongst our close friends. So I turned to the Alzheimer Society for information. I enrolled in all their information sessions. I consulted all the documents that they gave out, and I read all the books that they suggested. I can tell you with certainty that the last 10 years would have been a lot more difficult if this information wasn't available, and the support wasn't available through the Alzheimer Society. I am going to be walking in support of the Alzheimer Society. And I am going to be walking in memory of my husband, Donald. Happy walk, everyone.
Hi, it's Michelle. I'm here on our apartment deck in Stanhope, Prince Edward Island. There's an empty blue chair next to me, and that's where my husband would be sitting normally as we would start our day or get ready to walk. And that tells us that David has moved into full-time care. It's hard to ask for support at this time, but we know the work of the Alzheimer Society has to continue. So today I'm walking with my husband in spirit. We had moved to this apartment hoping this would give us a little more time, and sold our house, and he was home with me for 2 years after I left work in 2018, diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2017, and a lot of daily activities, very active. We here in PEI, we have the national park close by. We would bike, we would walk, we would ski. It really kept us going, and we didn't know how long we would have. And then January, things just got difficult, and it became too difficult for me to handle him. Even though he was a gentle soul and still is, physically, it was hard for me to manage. So we had to make the decision with the help of my Alzheimer's support group and all of the community in care to make that decision. And I'm an advocate for him as well. But I'm an advocate also for caregivers to take care of themselves and to work really hard to get knowledgeable for what you need to take care of yourself so that you can better take care of your person. I'll always be grateful for the time that we had. And I know that we did our best, and I know that I did my best. And I know that, again, the work of the Alzheimer Society and the support they give us through support groups, through the First Link, through all the programs that help us get educated and basically ready for the steps that we have to go through. So I'm walking today. I'm walking with David in my heart and all the people who are here and dealing with this the disease and this journey. All the strength and all the best, and I'm thinking of you from Prince Edward Island.
Good evening, Carolyn Friedman here. I'm from Quebec. I'm walking this year in memory for my husband, Michel Archambault, who passed away last Friday. This walk will be a way for me to mourn. Equally, the reason that I am walking is because I want to give back to the Alzheimer Society for all that I have received. I received an enormous amount, and it's for that reason I want to give the opportunity for other people to donate to the Alzheimer Society so that people living with dementia and their caregivers can receive all the services that are offered. So that these services are offered free of cost. So that these services can provide information about the disease. So that these services can provide coffee when we join them. These services are essential. For my husband and another gentleman, Mr. Paul Loisier, he met at an Alzheimer Society care facility. They developed a friendship at the start of their diagnosis. This friendship lasted for several years and therefore allowed him to do many things because they became friends. In truth, we can still develop or continue to develop friendships when two people have Alzheimer's disease. Now, I will do the walk for the Alzheimer Society in Saint-Bruno National Park so that I can raise the most that I can for this society. Thank you.
Roger Marple lives with dementia. He advocates on behalf of the Alzheimer Society to reduce stigma across Canada. And like many others, he provides advice that influences the services and how to make our local communities more dementia-friendly.
My name is Roger Marple. I live in Medicine Hat, Alberta. And I also thought I'd share I live with a form of dementia. I'm involved with the Alzheimer Society in a number of ways. I'm on an advisory committee with Alzheimer's Canada, and there's people from different geographic areas of Canada that advises Alzheimer's Canada in the work that they do, and I get a great amount of pleasure from that. One of the things that motivates me to be so involved with our Alzheimer's Society is basically the good work that they do from a personal point of view. And something else I like so much from them is they focus just as much on loved ones who live with this disease as much as we do. And they put a lot of focus on that, helping people through their journey with a loved one with dementia in whatever way that may look. And they're really great at helping people cross bridges as they come. My hat's off to the work that they do. Stigma is just a word if you do not know what it actually looks like. If we're to expect empathy and understanding, people living with dementia need to give empathy and understand why people do what they do. So here's the thing living with stigma. There's only one way to change a stigma culture. Only one way, and that is to challenge the stigma when you see it in a respectful way. People walking a mile in the shoes of the people that have the challenge, and not just people with dementia, but families alike. That is the power that we can have and the influence we can have when we speak openly about our journey. And that's why it's so important to speak openly, because every time your lips move, someone is benefiting from it.
Thank you for those inspiring words, Roger. We all have a role to play in combating stigma. The Alzheimer Society is a passionate advocate in addressing stigma. If you would like to support this important work, please call the number on the bottom of the screen or donate online at walkforalzheimer.ca. IG Wealth Management is committed to building communities across Canada. They empower their employees and get involved and volunteer through various programs and initiatives. Jason Hackett is just one of those employees who is personally motivated to volunteer for this event.
Hi everyone, my name is Jason Hackett. I'm the Regional Director for IG Wealth Management in the Greater Vancouver area. In 2017, I moved out to Vancouver to take on a Regional Director role here. Just a few years prior to that, my grandfather was unfortunately diagnosed with the disease, so I stepped in and I've been on the committee for I guess 3 years now. I've really enjoyed my time there. I've met some pretty incredible people. You know, I guess we had a bit of a unique situation with my grandfather, so it's actually my no-no. They still are Italian. Some of you might know that Italians can be stubborn. I'm allowed to say that because I'm Italian. But when he was diagnosed, you know, my grandmother, she kind of wanted to look after him on her own. So despite there being so many programs available, they didn't necessarily take advantage of all the programs. And I guess having seen that firsthand, and eventually they did finally get involved with some of the programs that the Alzheimer Society offers, I can tell you that it did make a world of difference having those programs available, because you know, for somebody who's elderly trying to work through this on their own, it's impossible. And the work that the Alzheimer Society does across Canada is so incredible. And just having heard about the other programs that are available, even in BC, and since I've been involved in the committee, I would highly recommend everybody takes advantage of these programs. Communicate to your family members that they exist, make sure they know what's out there. Because like I said, having seen it firsthand, somebody trying to, I guess, understand the disease and then trying to just manage it on their own, having never done it before, it's incredibly difficult. And I think that, through the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's, we're obviously raising not only money, but more importantly, we're raising a lot of awareness to the disease and to some of the programs that exist. So I think it's tremendously important that we all get involved and just, increase awareness around the disease, because that's the first step.
Let's have another look at what's going on in communities across Canada.
Hi everyone, my name is Yola Thomas. Today I'm excited to walk 5 kilometers for the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's online. Here, I'm at the Fred Gingell Stairs in sunny Tsawwassen. I'm walking for my family today. By participating today, you are supporting the Alzheimer Society by raising funds and awareness for this disease. Please register and donate today at walkforalzheimers.ca and start raising funds that are most needed now for the programs. Whether you're running, walking, jumping, dancing, biking, or even baking, however you support us today, thank you for supporting the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's today. Now, let's start walking.
Hello, bonjour. My name is Wendy and this is Logan. I work at the Alzheimer Society of KFLNA as the Education and Client Services Coordinator. This year, I'm walking in the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's for all those who have been touched by this illness, both professionally and personally. We need your support more than ever, and all money that's donated through our team stays right here in our community. If you can't donate this year, that's okay too. You could join my team. You could share my link and help create awareness. It takes a community to help people living with dementia. Are you going to be helping us?
Hi, I'm Lynn Loftus. I'm living well with Alzheimer's disease in Stratford, Prince Edward Island. I'm also Queen of the Stratford Tea Tarts. By 2031, close to 1 million Canadians will have dementia, an increase of nearly 70%. Today I'm here to decree in the month of May, this is indeed #IG Walk for ALZLs. This is my memory wall. This is a picture of Brian's mom, my mother-in-law, Evelyn McPherson. She had dementia. This is a picture of my mother, Dot Loftus. She cared for my father when he had dementia, and she had dementia at the end of her life. And this is me, now living with dementia. I learned from these women in the Alzheimer Society of PEI.
Hi, I'm Kathy. My daughter and I are going to be baking for Alzheimer's. Whether you're walking, riding a bike, or line dancing, your participation and your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
Hello, and welcome to the first Walk for Alzheimer's Online. My name is France Doualet, and I'm the director of Place Longueuil. Today I'm walking to underline the collaboration of Place Longueuil and the Alzheimer Society of the South Shore. It's here that we first started the Walk for Alzheimer's in 2007. We start and finish here in the parking lot. We've done this every year since 2007. Thank you for your donation and happy walk.
Hi, my name is Cindy Malenchenko and I'm walking for Alzheimer's. My mother had Lewy body dementia and I was her caregiver, or one of the caregivers, and I just have to say I was very appreciative of the Alzheimer Society. They were a good support, and so now I give back and support them.
Hello everyone, my name is Caroline Lavallée. I'm from Mercier, Quebec. This year I'm participating in the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's. I haven't decided yet how I'm going to be participating, because this year with the virtual walk there's so many ways we can participate, but what I do know is that I will definitely be walking and running with both my dogs, Juliette and Leah, who are here with me at this very moment. something important too. This year I'll be doing all of this for two very important and special people for me. The first one is a lady. Her name is Lynn. She's a caregiver and a fantastic woman whose husband is living with the disease. So Lynn and Eve, this is all for you this year. And well, to all of you out there, have fun with this very special edition of the walk. Have a great time.
Hi, my name is Sara Martinez and I work for the Alzheimer Society of Granby. Today is Sunday, May 31st, and it is the day of the IG Wealth Management for Alzheimer's Walk. Today, I am joining to the walk and I'm working for all the people living with the Alzheimer's disease in my region. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Holly and I'm walking for Alzheimer's. We're here in beautiful Naramata. I hope you can see the view behind us. And I'm walking for a number of friends of mine who have been afflicted with dementia or Alzheimer's. Sharon, Norma, Kimber, Jeff, Dawn, Doug, too many beautiful people, smart, witty people who have had been afflicted with this disease. And my friends and the people that I have appealed to have been very generous to me. So I've been able to raise over $12,000. So to all of those who have contributed, thank you very much.
Hi everyone, Sophie here. Today I'm walking for my dad, Denis, who got diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease 2 years ago, and my mother, Lucille, who takes such good care of him. The walk is a way for my family and I to get together and do something for the cause. Thank you.
Hello, this is Dennis. We're in the woods, and this morning we're walking for the Alzheimer Society of Laval. Why did I choose the Alzheimer Society of Laval? Because it's an awesome team. It's a team of people who are motivated, kind, compassionate, devoted, filled with sweetness, and a good sense of humor. And so, today I'm walking for that society. To date, I've raised more than $600, and my goal is to reach 1,000. And so, I wish you a good day and happy walks. Denise says thank you.
And now we're going to meet Harold Hefferton from Newfoundland, who wanted to speak to us from a place that has special meaning for him and his wife. Harold is passionate about making sure that people know they do not need to walk the dementia journey alone.
Hi, I'm Harold Hefferton, live from St. John's, Newfoundland. I'm associated with the Alzheimer Society of Newfoundland and Labrador as one of their board members. My wife Barb was diagnosed with Alzheimer's 10 years ago, kept her home for 8 years, and she's been placed in the long-term care home approximately 17 months. Yeah, I've used the Alzheimer Society. I've been in their place talking to the social worker, getting some tips, pouring my heart out, trying to find out what it was all about. And I've also been to the family support group sessions on several occasions, and both of which I found very helpful. I have actually two messages. Obviously, the first one is to look after the person with Alzheimer's. Reach out and get medical help or whatever help you need. Then the caregiver needs to look after oneself. It's so important. You're no good to anyone else if you're no good to yourself. Probably the most heartwarming moment I got was after an interview with VOCM, one of the local radio stations here, about the I Live with Dementia Ambassador Program. I got texts and emails from friends saying how proud Barb would be the work I'm doing for Alzheimer's. The IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's is truly very important. It provides funds to provide the services and the programs much needed for those living this journey. Yes, there is a message I'd like to get out there, and that is, it's a journey you don't want to take on by yourself. You need to get out there and find out, educate yourself, find out the services that are available, because it's not a journey that you want to or you can do alone. You need help. Get it. Everyone, please join in the fight against dementia, Alzheimer's. We can win this together. Don't let the disease win. Let love win.
Throughout the month of May, people have been daring others to complete challenges for this year's online walk. Let's check some of them out.
I'm Marin from Grand Prairie, Alberta, and I'm practicing my backflips. I'll be doing 100 backflips to raise money for the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's. Did you know that 65% of people diagnosed over the age of 65 are women? Let's find a cure for my generation and those to come. Register and donate today. Before I go, I want to challenge my brother Davis to 100 bum busters on the trampoline. Hope to see you there. Bye!
Hey there, I'm Megan Batchelor from Altona, Manitoba, and today, since we can't walk together, I've decided to do 500 jumping jacks from right here on my balcony. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 14, 500. Woo!
Hi Canada, we are Team Total Diva. And we are challenging the entire Kingston area to stay home this year and support the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's. I'm David, and I'm going to be walking with Richie.
I'm Essie, and I'm going to be doing dance for my grandbaby.
I'm Nate, and I will be running for the Alzheimer Society.
And I'm Andrea, and I will be on my treadmill to meet my goal. This is our 4th year doing the walk. We're looking forward to walking in honor of my father, and Gary Latimer.
I'm going to do 100 squats every day for the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's online. Ready, set, go!
Hi, my name is Davis from Grand Prairie, Alberta. My sister Marin has challenged me to 100 bum busters to raise money for IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's. Challenge accepted. Did you know that in Canada there are over 747,000 people living with dementia? My great auntie was one of those people. Register today to bring hope for today and help for tomorrow. Bye!
My name is Kevin O'Shea, and I'm the president of the Alzheimer Society of Newfoundland and Labrador and the vice chair of the Alzheimer Society of Canada. I'm getting ready to walk on the trails around St. John's as part of my pledge for this year's Walk for Alzheimer's. Our board here in Newfoundland and Labrador has pledged to walk just under 200 kilometers so far, and as part of Newfoundland and Labrador as a whole, we're walking 2,000 kilometers, stretching all the way from St. John's up to Labrador. I'm challenging other boards across Canada to try and match us or beat us in your pledges. And we thank you for your support in this different year for the Walk for Alzheimer's, walking virtually and walking in our own neighborhoods and backyards, that the support of people all across the country is more important than ever as we walk in support of persons with dementia and their caregivers and families, and to end stigma of the disease. Thank you.
Even when distance separates people living with dementia and their caregivers, the Alzheimer Society can help. When Jennifer Lamb found herself in the role of long-distance caregiver, she received support in Vancouver, British Columbia, while her mother was in her care in her hometown in Ontario. Here's her story.
I'm Jennifer Lamb in Vancouver, BC, and I was a long-distance caregiver for my mother, Catherine Lamb, who lived in my hometown of Kitchener-Waterloo in Ontario. Mom was a journalist for over 40 years and a dedicated community volunteer who won many awards. Mom was always very busy, but she said gardening is what recharged her batteries. I wished I would absorb more of her gardening knowledge when I was growing up with her. Early in this century, Mom started to withdraw from her favorite activities, even gardening. In 2007, she was diagnosed with probable Alzheimer's. Dad and I went to visit the Waterloo Wellington office of the Alzheimer Society. We took education sessions there, and Dad joined a monthly caregiver support group meeting. Back in Vancouver, I took more courses from the BC Alzheimer Society, and I joined monthly caregiver support group meetings, which I attended for over 11 years until my mother passed away in March of this year. My family couldn't have endured this heartbreaking dementia journey without the assistance of those 2 locations of the Alzheimer Society. By meeting on a monthly basis with other family caregivers, I knew that I was not alone on the dementia journey, and I learned what might be ahead for our family and how we would be able to cope. I'm happy to support the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's so the Society can help more families like mine. Thank you.
Many people are walking for their mom, but what if your mom was walking for you? Paulette Noel of St. Rose, New Brunswick, is walking in honor of her daughter today.
Hello, Paulette Noel from the St. Rose region of New Brunswick on the Acadian Peninsula. Today, I'm walking for my daughter. I'm walking in memory of my daughter, Marie-Claude, who died 2.5 months ago. She was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, a form of Alzheimer's disease. She was someone who was very involved in the community, so I'm doing this in her memory. If you would like to help, we are taking donations, and we thank you very much. We thank you very much for your generosity with fondness and heart. Thank you, and good day.
Charlene Callender got involved with the Alzheimer Society of Saskatchewan after her mother received a diagnosis of dementia. Hers is a story of leadership, giving back, and having hope.
Hi, I'm Charlene Callender, and I'm from Regina. I'm walking in the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's, and I'm walking for my grandma who passed away from Alzheimer's, and I'm walking for my mom who currently has Alzheimer's. I became motivated and involved in the Alzheimer Society of Saskatchewan shortly after my mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. I didn't know much about the Alzheimer Society at that point in time, and we actually hadn't used any services for mom up until that point. But once I found out about it, I knew I was interested in working with them. I knew I had some skills to help govern an organization, and I thought that would be the best way for me to contribute. And so shortly after Mom was diagnosed, I contacted the organization to see if they needed board members or what the process was. And so then since I've been on the board since about 2016. The IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's is a real fun way to get out and support your loved ones who have the disease, and gives you an opportunity to get together with other folks who are in the same situation as you are, and know that there's a community of people out there that are going through the same thing you are. My family and I have been involved in the walks for several years, and my favorite part of the walk is talking with my family, getting some themes together, deciding how we're going to dress up for the walk. And a couple years we had some really great themes. The name of our team is Diane's Divas because my mom's name is Diane. And so one year we dressed up with boas and big glasses and those types of things. And that was a lot of fun. And so those things just bring us together, and it's really great for the whole family to get together in support of the walk because it really has impacted the whole family. So I believe there is hope that we can find a cause and a cure for Alzheimer's.
Let's have one more look at what people are doing across Canada.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
I'm Sylvie Turcot.
And I'm Jean-Claude Rochelot.
We are volunteers for the Alzheimer Society of Laurentide.
We volunteer for respite care at the Philippe Leplante Pavilion in Saint-Agathe.
We've downloaded our beneficiaries' favorite music onto our iPods.
We get involved with the general direction of Laurentide in different projects.
Hey gang from the Laurentid.
We're saying hello to you.
You know, we've been caregivers for the past 10 years.
That's right. My mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, and we take care of her.
During these years, we have learned a lot about this disease.
And how to interact with people who have and are affected by the disease.
So today, we walk for the cause.
I created the group Rockwater, and I know that our family, our friends, and our acquaintances will walk with us.
Yes, thank you everybody, and a big hello.
You know that it's important to donate to this cause, so we ask you to continue to donate and to support us.
So, if you're walking for real,
or virtually,
happy walk, everybody.
Hi there, my name is Laurel Wright. I'm the walk co-chair for the Oceanside IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's in Qualicum Beach and Parksville. Really excited to be sharing this virtual walk with you this year and supporting and fundraising for this amazing cause for our communities. Have a great one.
Hi, I'm Ashley, and I'm walking 10 kilometers in the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's. I believe it is really important to support people with dementia. I've had family members with the disease, and I've seen firsthand how it affects people's lives. The Alzheimer Society makes a difference for our family. I decided to start my 10 kilometers at the Alzheimer Society office, where many families began their journey.
Hello, I'm Benoit Lequier, Borough President of Ville-Longueuil and Citizen Advisor for the Boisé du Tremblay District. And so again, this year, our borough is proud to participate in the Walk for Alzheimer's for the South Shore District. I'd like to invite everyone to donate generously so the Society can continue to offer quality services. And on a more personal note, this year I'll tell you that I'm walking for my mum and dad. Have a very happy walk.
Hello, I'm Annie Bergeron. I'm walking in the South Shore District of Montreal, and I'm the Family Service Director for the Alzheimer Society of the South Shore. I'm walking to show the importance of supporting people living with Alzheimer's and their caregivers. I'm walking for people who live in care facilities. I think of their loved ones who are often worried and powerless. I'm also walking for people who live at home. Their caregivers are often exhausted and lack respite. I'm walking for the personnel who provide care, who provide support, who provide respite. Finally, each gesture counts and contributes to the improvement of the lives of people affected by the disease and their caregivers.
Hi, my name is Craig McDonald. I'm the Regional Director for IG Wealth Management in Newfoundland, Labrador. I'm talking to you today from the east coast of Newfoundland and beautiful Conception Bay South. We're proud to be the sponsor of the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's in support of those living with dementia and the families that need our support. It's very important to understand with Alzheimer's and dementia, the perception of a stigma associated with it, you know what, throw that out. You need to connect with the resources that are available and really understand how people can help you along your journey through the stages of dementia. I would ask that today that you participate in the walk. Have some fun, enjoy yourself, and remember to take some pictures and enjoy the memories for years to come. Have a great day.
There's no better way to spend a Sunday than with the Walk for Alzheimer's, an annual event, but obviously this year a little bit different. We're jumping online and we're walking right to Labrador from St. John's. That's 2,000 kilometers. The only thing is we got to start walking back. So make sure you keep walking, support the Alzheimer Society to ensure the programs and services are there for folks living with dementia.
Hello, I'm Matthew Vortmans, and I do the Walk for Alzheimer's in memory of my beloved grandmother, Jean, who suffered with the illness for about 7 years and passed away in 2006. I've been doing the walk for about 14 years now and have been lucky enough to be the top individual fundraiser for 13 of those years, having raised a total of over $45,000. People have proven to be quite generous, and I only hope it continues, because with Alzheimer's increasing exponentially, we need all the help we can get.
My name is Jane, and I'm from Ladysmith on lovely Vancouver Island. This year is my 16th Walk for Alzheimer's, and It's Jake's first walk for Alzheimer's. Have fun, everybody.
Hello, I'm Marion LeBlanc, spokesperson for the Alzheimer Society of the South Shore, and this year on May 31st, I'm participating in the Walk for Alzheimer's online in memory of my grandmother who lived with, then died from this disease. Will you walk virtually with me?
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I'm excited to be participating in the Walk for Alzheimer's. This year, my family team and I are walking in honor of my father and in support of all those impacted by dementia. We are most grateful to our family and friends who have donated to help push us to our greatest distance. Hope that you're joining us for the walk, even in spirit, as we hit the trails and sidewalks in pursuit of our goal. Thank you, and have a great walk.
Hi, I'm Kalita. I'm here from Regina, Saskatchewan, and today, instead of walking and counting the number of steps we're doing, we're counting the number of swings. Girls, what number are we at? 100 and counting, so hopefully we have some tired kids tonight. We're just walking because we want to make sure that memories like these don't fade for us and fade for the ones we love, our children, all of our future generations. So we're just doing our part to raise funds for the Alzheimer Society and start raising some awareness.
Making memories and sharing special occasions with family and friends creates the rich tapestry of our lives. It's true that living with Alzheimer's means a lot may be lost, but there are still some beautiful moments. Amber Frost from Alberta knows this all too well. Here's her story.
My name is Amber Frost. I live in Beaumont, Alberta, and I am a finance assistant at the Alzheimer Society. I have an older sister and an older brother. I do also have a fur baby, my dog Ted, and my mom is living with Alzheimer's disease. My mom loved to play soccer. She was very feisty. She loved to enjoy time with her friends, enjoying fire pits. She had a dog that she loved so very much, her dog Gary. She is very active. My mom probably walks like 30,000 steps a day. We're gonna get a Fitbit on her. So we always danced with her. So no matter what stage of the Alzheimer's disease, but she loves music. My brother and my sister and I always say we got our rhythm from our mom. So thank you, Mom. I got married in 2018 and my mom was already placed in a long-term care home and my mom was not able to come wedding dress shopping with me. So my sister and I were visiting my mom after we found my wedding dress and my sister showed her a picture of my wedding dress. And usually my mom's responses to looking at things like that is not a ton of response, which is understandable. But she stopped and she looked at it and she's like, "That's so beautiful." And my sister and I just both started crying and it was just, it was such a magical moment that even though my mom wasn't able to be there, that she did approve of the dress that I bought. I think just the reason why we wanted to reach out to the Alzheimer Society was to gain more information for my family to have a better knowledge so that we could support my mom living with this disease and also to be able to support each other was a huge thing. More information is always better. The IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's is an amazing event. It is so family, community-based. When you go there, you can just feel the warmth and love of whether you're there walking for someone, people living with dementia are there, and it is so warm. It brings a smile to my face every time I go. I will be participating in the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's this year. I'm going to be, I have a sign that I've made that says who I'm walking for, which is my mom. So I'll be walking around my town holding up my sign for my mom. For people living with dementia, I suggest to stay positive and to reach out to the Alzheimer Society.
And that concludes the broadcast for the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's online for 2020. I hope you have come away from the show feeling inspired, hopeful, and motivated to continue to support your local Alzheimer Society and the important work that they do. Thank you so much to everyone across Canada who who walked, jumped, cartwheeled, ran today. It was wonderful to see your enthusiasm for this cause that is close to your hearts and for showing that our connections matter. Thank you to people living with dementia and their caregivers for sharing their stories, and to everyone who tuned in to honor and celebrate people affected by dementia. A special thank you to everyone who donated. We know that this is a really tough time for many in our history. We're so grateful for your generosity. Your support plays an important part in ensuring that Alzheimer societies across this country can continue to support people who have been affected by dementia. If you haven't had a chance to donate, the donation line will be open for another 30 minutes. You can also visit walkforalzheimers.ca to make a secure credit card donation online. And as always, the donation goes to support programs in your community. Remember, we love seeing all your activities, so keep posting your photos and videos throughout the day using the hashtag #IGWalkForAlz. On behalf of everyone at the Alzheimer Societies across Canada, a sincere thank you for participating in this first ever IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's online and for making a difference in the people lives with dementia. I'm Marcia McMillan, and as we send you back out today, we leave you with a beautiful song performed by Glenn Hill from Northern Alberta. Stay safe, everyone.
This highway of heartaches is rocky and rough, and I learned a long time ago. You can't build a fire from the ashes of love, and roses don't bloom in the snow. Down deep inside my soul, where once it was gold and dark, I feel your love take a hold, way down deep in my heart. You were my light on the darkest of days. Those storm clouds were raging within. Slowly but surely the clouds rolled away, and the sun started shining again. Down deep inside my soul, where once it was cold and dark, I feel your love take a hold, way down deep in my heart.